A 125-pound Great Dane who can't see is walking beside an 11-year-old girl who can't see either. They're crossing a parking lot at 4:17 p.m. on a Wednesday. No cane, no harness. The girl's hand is on the dog's shoulder. The dog's nose is 3 inches from the ground. They haven't bumped into anything in 9 months. But that's not the story. The story is what happened at 2:48 a.m. on a night in January in the dark that neither of them has ever been afraid of. Because for them, it was always dark. His name was Ghost, 125 pounds of harlequin, white base coat with torn patches of black, like someone started painting him and quit. His eyes were pale blue, almost silver, perfectly still. They didn't track movement or light. Born with progressive retinal atrophy, functional vision until about age 1, then nothing, and surrendered at 2, completely blind. He had a way of entering rooms that made people stop talking. He'd press his nose to the baseboard at the doorway and walk the perimeter once, slow, reading the shape with his nostrils. Then he'd cross the room like he'd lived there for years. His ears were enormous, even for a Dane, and they rotated independently, catching the hum of a fridge from one direction and footsteps from another at the same time. When he breathed, a faint whistle came through his left nostril, a scar from something no one had documented. The shelter in Raleigh had him for 289 days. 19 families inquired. Everyone backed out when they learned he couldn't see. One couple drove 40 minutes, watched him walk into a wall. He'd been moved to a new kennel that morning and hadn't learned it yet, and left. Yet the volunteer who walked him, Terrence, said Ghost could find his kennel door on the first try from anywhere in the yard. He counts. I don't know how, but he counts. By month 8, Ghost stayed in his kennel, nose pointed at the gate, ears turning, waiting for sounds that never turned into anything. Margot Chen was 41 and had stopped counting the things her daughter couldn't do. Lily was 11, born premature, optic nerve damage, blind since birth. She navigated with a white cane, a mental map that updated faster than most GPS systems, and hearing sharp enough to identify which neighbor was pulling in by the engine sound. She went to mainstream school, Braille reader, an aide 2 periods a day, fastest reader in her class. She just read with her fingers. She had friends. She was fine. That was Margot's word. But Lily had stopped going to new places, birthday parties, field trips. I'm okay. When Margot asked about Hannah's party, Lily said, I know the route to school and the route home. I don't know the route to Hannah's house. I'll mess it up. Not sad, factual. That was the part that scared Margot. Lily wasn't upset about the walls closing in. She thought that was how the room was shaped. Lily's mobility instructor, Diane, mentioned the shelter, not a guide dog. Lily was too young. The wait was 2 years. There's a blind Great Dane in Raleigh. A blind dog navigates the way Lily does. Smell, sound, memory. They might understand each other. Margot thought she'd lost her mind. They went on a Saturday. 34 dogs, all barking. Lily held her cane in one hand, Margot's wrist in the other, head tilted, listening, not looking. Then silence. Last kennel. Lily stopped. There's one more. He's not making any sound. She let go of Margot's wrist, folded her cane, crouched and put both palms flat on the gate. Ghost was standing 6 inches away. His nose pulled air through the metal in quick bursts. Her fingers, her wrists, her sleeve. Then he pressed his forehead against the gate where her hands were and held it. Lily felt the weight of his skull through the cold chain link and the vibration of his breathing traveling up through her wrists into her arms. He smells like dust and something warm, Lily said. She didn't move her hands. Mom, he's reading me. That's what I do when I meet someone. I listen to them before they know I'm listening. He's doing the same thing with his nose. Margot looked at the shelter card. Special needs, blind, no small children. She looked at Lily's face pressed against the gate, skull to skull with Ghost. She thought about birthday parties Lily didn't go to, and the world shrinking every month. She thought about what happens when you give a blind child a blind dog and both of them fall. She thought about what happens if she doesn't sign, and Lily's world keeps closing and Safe Choices can't stop it. Margot signed at 11:40 a.m. Her hand was steady. The rest of her was not. Ghost learned the Chen house in a single evening. By the next morning, he walked from the front door to Lily's bedroom without touching anything. Lily timed him, 14 seconds. She did the same route in 11. His stride is longer, but he pauses more, she told Margot. He's double-checking. It was the first time Lily had analyzed someone else's navigation, and she'd always been the only blind person in every room she entered. When Ghost knocked over a floor lamp on day 3, he froze in the hallway, ears flat. Lily found him trembling. She crouched, put her hands on both sides of his face, and said, "It's the lamp. 6 steps behind you, 2 left." Ghost's ears came up. He turned and walked the correction perfectly. From that moment, they started teaching each other. Outside, Lily kept her hand on Ghost's shoulder. Ghost kept his nose low. He smelled what was coming: curbs, poles, parked cars, puddles, and stopped before they reached it. She heard what was coming: engines, bikes, people, and squeezed his shoulder to shift direction. They moved through space like one creature with 2 noses, 4 ears, and no eyes, but they weren't always in sync. In week 2, Ghost stopped in the middle of a crosswalk for no reason Lily could find. She pulled his shoulder to keep going. He didn't move. 3 seconds later, a car ran the red light. She felt the wind on her face, close enough to smell exhaust. Ghost had felt the engine revving through the asphalt before the car moved. His paws caught what her ears missed. After that, when Ghost stopped, Lily stopped. No questions. Lily's teacher, Mrs. Rowan, called Margot in week 4. "A blind child with a blind dog and no cane. I can't endorse that." Her voice was careful, not cruel. 3 years ago, a blind student of hers walked into traffic. The girl survived. Mrs. Rowan still checked crosswalks twice before stepping off the curb, even with perfect vision. "I'm not saying take the dog, I'm saying she needs the cane." But Mrs. Rowan also watched, and every morning from her classroom window, she saw Lily and Ghost cross the school parking lot. She started timing them. She couldn't help it. She was terrified, and counting seconds was how she managed terror. 14 seconds from the curb to the front door. Never more than 15. Never a stumble. In week 8, she saw a delivery truck back up, while Lily and Ghost were mid-crossing. Ghost stopped. Lily stopped. The truck passed. They kept walking. Mrs. Rowan put down her coffee and watched them reach the door. 14 seconds. She didn't call Margot that day. She didn't call anyone. January. A Wednesday night. Margot was at a conference in Charlotte. Lily was home with her grandmother May, who fell asleep on the couch at 9:30. Lily in bed by 10. Ghost on the floor beside her. 2:48 a.m. Ghost stood up. His nails clicked fast, not his careful mapping rhythm, urgent. He pushed his nose against Lily's hand. She woke. The house was silent except for a sound she couldn't place. A low hiss from somewhere below, like air leaking from a tire, but continuous. Ghost led her to the hallway. The hiss was louder. At the top of the stairs, he stopped, sat down, blocked the stairs with his body. His nose was flaring in rapid bursts, pulling at something in the air. Lily reached for the banister, and Ghost pressed his full weight against her legs, not guiding her down, holding her back. "You don't want me to go down there," she said. She went back to her room, found her phone, called Margot at 2:53 a.m. "Something's wrong. Ghost woke me up. There's a hissing from the kitchen, and he won't let me go downstairs. Fire department in 8 minutes. Gas leak. The flexible connector behind the stove had cracked. Kitchen at 2.8% methane. The pilot light had gone out, which was the only reason it hadn't ignited. The fire captain told May, shaking on the front lawn, that a light switch or the fridge cycling on could have sparked it. Ghost had smelled the mercaptan, the additive that gives gas its odor. He couldn't see the stove or the stairs, but he smelled what didn't belong and blocked the only path to it. Margot drove home in 47 minutes. Lily was on the porch steps, Ghost pressed against her side. Fire truck lights spinning, red and white patterns neither of them could see. Margot sat down, put her hand on Lily's knee. "Ghost smelled it," Lily said. "I heard it. He stopped me. I called you." She was quiet for a moment. Nay, everyone kept saying 2 blind is twice as dangerous. It's not. It's twice as many ways to pay attention. Margot pulled her daughter in. Ghost leaned into both of them, his big harlequin body warm against the cold. Today, Ghost is 5, 128 pounds. Lily is 12. They walk to school every morning at 7:35, 14 blocks, no cane. Lily went to Hannah's birthday party last month. and to a movie the week after. She can't see the movie, but she said the popcorn was good, and Ghost slept through the whole thing. Mrs. Rowan requested a meeting with Margot in March. She sat across the desk and was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "I've been watching them from my window since September, every morning. I was counting seconds because I was scared. At somewhere around November, I stopped counting and just watched." She folded her hands. "I have a new student next year, 7 years old, blind since 3. Would Lily talk to her?" Lily said yes. She said, "Tell her to find the one nobody else wants. That's usually the right one." May still falls asleep on the couch when she stays over. Ghost does his night route: bedroom, hallway, kitchen, stairs, every 90 minutes. Each time he passes May, he stops, sniffs her hand, and moves on, making sure everyone's still there, seeing them the only way he knows. Lily's white cane is in the closet by the front door. It hasn't moved in 9 months. Margot thought about donating it last week. Then she didn't. Some things you keep, not because you need them, but because they remind you of who you were before. Someone showed you a better way to move through the dark.